Shalom, shalom, Mishpachar and Havarim and all who join us here on this beautiful day, the second day of the second month of Yahweh's calendar. This is a picture of last night's moon rising from beyond the south coast of England, UK. What a glorious sight seen by my very excited daughter. It started pink, and as it went up, it turned to orange after darkness set in. Abba's amazing creation is so worth gazing at. Okay, today we will read Yobelim chapters 4 to 6. My tablet's already deleted the first taking, and it's not acting very well. I'm trying to get this out. Abba willing, this will be the one. So please take note of the glossary and the pronunciation guide that I've left up, and say a prayer for guidance before we start. So let's get comfortable and begin. Chapter 4. And in the third week, in the second Yovel, she gave birth to Cain, and in the fourth she gave birth to Havel, that's Cain and Abel. And in the fifth she gave birth to her daughter Awan. And in the first year of the third Yovel, Cain slew Havel, because Elohim accepted the offering of Havel and did not accept the offering of Cain. And he slew him in the field, and his blood cried from the ground to the Shamayim, lamenting, because he had slain him. And Yahweh reproved, he reprimanded Cain because of Havel, because he had slain him, and he made him a fugitive on the earth, because of the blood of his brother, and he cursed him upon the earth. And on this account it is written on the tablets of the Shamayim, cursed is he who smites his neighbour treacherously. And let all who have seen and heard say, so be it. And the man who has seen and not declared, let him be accursed as the other. And for this reason, we announce when we come before Yahweh our Elohim, all the sin which is committed in the Shamayim and on the earth, and in light and in darkness and everywhere. And Adam and his wife mourned for Havel 4 weeks of years, and in the 4th year of the 5th week they became joyful, and Adam knew his wife again, and she bore him a son, and he called his name Sheth. For he said, Elohim has raised up a second seed for us in the earth, on the earth, instead of Havel, for Cain slew him. And in the 6th week he brought forth his daughter Azurah. And Cain took Awan his sister to be his wife, and she bore him Hanok. At the close of the 4th Yovel, and in the 1st year of the 1st week of the 5th Yovel, dwellings were built on the earth, and Cain built a city and called its name after the name of his son Hanok. And Adam knew Hawa. Isn't that the first city then? Really? Verse 10, and Adam knew Hawa, his wife, and she bore a further 9 sons. And in the 5th week of the 5th Yovel, Sheth took Azurah his sister to be his wife, and in the 4th year of the 6th week she bore him Enosh. He began to call on the name of Yahweh on the earth. And in the 7th Yovel, in the 3rd week, Enosh took Noam, his sister, to be his wife, and she bore him a son in the 3rd year of the 5th week, and he called his name Canaan. And at the close of the 8th Yovel, Canaan took Mualeleth, his sister, to be his wife, and she bore him a son in the 9th Yovel, in the 1st week, in the 3rd year of this week, and he called his name Mahalalel. And in the 2nd week of the 10th Yovel, Mahalalel took as wife Dinah, the daughter of Barachiel, the daughter of his father's brother. And she bore him a son in the 3rd week, in the 6th year, and he called his name Yared. For in his days the messengers of Yahweh descended on the earth, those who are named the Watchers, that they should instruct the children of men, and that they should do right ruling and uprightness on the earth. And in the 11th Yovel, Yared took a wife, and her name was Berachah, the daughter of Rasuyal, a daughter of his father's brother, in the 4th week of this Yovel. And she bore him a son in the 5th week, in the 4th year of the Yovel, and he called his name Hanok. And he was the first among men that are born on earth, who learned writing and knowledge and wisdom, and who wrote down the signs of the Shamayim according to the order of their months in a book, that men might know the seasons of the years according to the order of their separate months, the book of Hanok people. And he was the first to write a witness, and he witnessed to the sons of men among the generations of the earth, and recounted the weeks of the Yobelim, and made known to them the days of the years, and put in order the months, and recounted the Shabbatoth of the years, as we made known to him. I'd like to say here, go to this channel with Ken, and go to Mikhail Shabbat, and this is the calendar we're following now, because this is the original calendar that's come up out of the ground to come back to us. Continuing, verse 19. And what was, and what shall be, he saw in a vision of his sleep, as it shall happen to the children of men throughout their generations until the day of judgment. He saw and understood all, and wrote his witness, and placed the witness on earth for all the children of men, and for their generations. And in the 12th Yovel, in the 7th week, he took a wife, and her name was Edni, the daughter of Daniel, the daughter of his father's brother. And in the 6th year, in this week, she bore him a son, and he called his name Methuselah. And he was furthermore with the messengers of Elohim these 6 Yovelim of years, and they showed him all which is on the earth, and in the Shamayim, the rule of the sun, and he wrote it all down. And he witnessed to the Watchers, who had sinned with the daughters of men, for these had begun to unite themselves, so as to be defiled with the daughters of men, and Hanok witnessed against them all. And he was taken from among the children of men, and we conducted him into the Garden of Eden in majesty and honour, and see, there he writes down the condemnation and judgment of the world, and all the wickedness of the children of men. And on account of it, Elohim brought the waters of the flood upon all the land of Eden. For there he was appointed as a sign, and that he should witness against all the children of men, that he should recount all the deeds of the generations until the day of condemnation. And he burned the incense of the Mikdash, sweet spices acceptable before Yahweh on the mountain. And Yahweh has 4 places on the earth, the Garden of Eden, and the mountain of the east. And this mountain on which you are this day, Mount Sinai and Mount Sion, which shall be Kadosh in the new creation, for a Kodashah of the earth. Through it the earth shall be Kadosh from all guilt and its uncleanness throughout the generations of the world. And in the 14th Yovel, Methuselah took a wife, Edna, the daughter of Azriel, the daughter of his father's brother, in the 3rd week, in the 1st year of this week. And he brought forth a son, and called his name Lamech. And in the 15th Yovel, in the 3rd week, Lamech took a wife, and her name was Betenos, the daughter of Barachiel, the daughter of his father's brother, and in this week she bore him a son, and he called his name Noah, saying, This one shall comfort me for my trouble, and all my work, and for the ground which Yahweh has cursed. And at the close of the 19th Yovel, in the 7th week, in the 6th year, Adam died, and all his sons buried him in the land of his creation. And he was the first to be buried in the earth, and he was less 70 years from 1,000 years. For 1,000 years are as one day in the witness of the Shamayim, and therefore was it written concerning the tree of knowledge, On the day that you eat of it, you shall die. For this reason he did not complete the years of his days, for he died during it. At the close of this Yovel, Cain was killed after him in the same year, for his house fell upon him, and he died in the midst of his house. And he was killed by its stones, for with a stone he had killed Hevel, and by a stone he was killed in righteous judgment. And for this reason it was ordained on the tablets of the Shamayim, with the instrument with which a man kills his neighbour with, the same shall he be killed. After the manner that he wounded him, in like manner shall they deal with him. And in the 25th Yovel, Noah took a wife, and her name was Emzara, the daughter of Rachael, the daughter of his father's brother, in the 1st year, in the 5th week. And in the 3rd year she bore him Shem, in the 5th year she bore him Ham, and in the 1st year, in the 6th week, she bore him Japheth. Chapter 5. And it came to be, when the children of men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the messengers of Elohim saw them on a certain year of this Yovel, that they were lovely to look upon, and they took themselves wives of all whom they chose, and they bore unto them sons, and they were giants. And lawlessness increased on the earth, and all flesh corrupted its way alike, men and cattle, and beasts and birds, and all that walks on the earth, all of them corrupted their ways and their orders, and they began to devour each other, and lawlessness increased on the earth, and every imagination of the thoughts of all men was only evil continually. And Elohim looked upon the earth, and see, it was corrupt, and all flesh had corrupted its orders, and all that were upon the earth had wrought all kinds of evil before his eyes. And he said, I shall destroy man and all flesh upon the face of the earth which I have created. But Noah found favour before the eyes of Yahweh. And against the messengers whom he had sent upon the earth he was exceedingly wroth, and he gave a command to root them out of all their reign. And he commanded us to bind them in the depths of the earth, and see, they are bound in the midst of it, and are kept separate. And against their sons went forth a command from before his face, that they should be smitten with the sword, and be removed from under the Shamayim. And he said, Your spirit shall not always abide on man, for they also are flesh, and their days shall be 120 years. And he sent his sword into their midst, that each should slay his neighbour. And they began to slay each other, till they all fell by the sword, and were destroyed from the earth. Well, I'd like to say here that I think Yahweh has destroyed baddies several times. Somehow they keep coming back. He'll keep doing it. till one day they've gone for good. That's what he's doing. He's purifying everything. Yireh Yahweh. Continuing. Verse 10. And their fathers were witnesses of their destruction, and after this they were bound in the depths of the earth forever, until the day of the great condemnation, when judgment is executed on all those who have corrupted their ways and their works before Yahweh. And he destroyed all from their places, and not one remained of them whom he did not judge according to all their wickedness. And he appointed for all his works a new and righteous nature, so that they should not sin in their whole nature forever, but should be all righteous, each in his kind always. And the judgment of all is ordained and written on the tablets of the Shamayim in righteousness, even the judgment of all who depart from the path which is ordained for them to walk in. And if they do not walk therein, judgment is written down for every creature and for every kind. And there is none in the Shamayim, or on earth, or in light, or in darkness, or in the grave, or in the depths, or in the place of darkness, which is not judged. And all their judgments are ordained and written and engraved. In regard to all, he shall rightly rule, the great according to his greatness, and the small according to his smallness, and each according to his way. And he is not one who will regard the face of any, nor is he one who shall receive bribes. If he says that he shall execute judgment on each, if one gave all that is on the earth, he shall not regard the bribes or the face of any, nor accept any matter at his hands, for he is a righteous judge. And of the children of Israel it has been written and ordained, if they turn to him in righteousness, he shall forgive all their transgressions and pardon all their sins. It is written and ordained that he shall show kindness to all who turn from all their guilt once a year. So we need to put that on our calendars, people. Chapter 5, verse 19. And as for all those who corrupted their ways and their thoughts before the flood, no man's face was accepted except that of Noah alone. For his face was accepted in behalf of his sons, whom Elohim saved from the waters of the flood on his account. For his heart was righteous in all his ways, accordingly as it was commanded regarding him. And he had not departed from any matter that was ordained for him. And Yahweh said that he would destroy all which was upon the earth, both men and cattle and beasts and birds of the air, and that which moves on the earth. And he commanded Noah to make himself an ark, that he might save himself from the waters of the flood. And Noah made the ark in all respects, as he commanded him. In the 27th Yovel of years, in the 5th week, in the 5th year, on the new moon of the 1st month. And he entered in the 6th year, in the 2nd month, on the new moon of the 2nd month, till the 16th, and he entered, and all that we brought to him into the ark. And Yahweh closed it from without on the 17th evening. Yahweh closed the door. And Yahweh opened 7 windows of the Shamayim, and the mouths of the fountains of the great deep, 7 mouths in number. And the windows began to pour down water from the Shamayim 40 days and 40 nights, and the fountains of the deep also sent up waters, until the whole earth was filled with water. And the waters increased upon the earth 15 amar. The waters rose above all the high mountains, and the ark was lifted up above the earth, and it moved upon the face of the waters. And the waters were mighty on the face of the earth 5 months, 150 days. Whoa. And the ark went and rested on the top of Luvar, one of the mountains of Ararat. And on the new moon in the 4th month, the fountains of the great deep were closed, and the windows of the Shamayim were restrained. And on the new moon of the 7th month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were opened, and the water began to descend into the deep below. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were visible. And on the new moon of the 1st month, the earth became visible, and the waters disappeared from above the earth in the 5th week, in the 7th year. And on the 17th day, in the 2nd month, the earth was dry. And on the 27th, he opened the ark, and sent out from it beasts and cattle and birds, and every moving creature. Now, chapter 6. This has got calendar in it, people. Your pen's ready. And on the new moon of the 3rd month, he went out from the ark and built an altar on the mountain. And he made atonement for the earth, and took a young goat and made atonement with its blood for all the guilt of the earth, and for all that had been on it had been destroyed, except those that were on the ark with Noah. And he placed the fat of it on the altar. And he took a bull and a goat and a male goat and salt, and a turtle dove and a young pigeon, and placed a burnt offering on the altar, and poured an offering on it mixed with oil, and sprinkled wine, and spread frankincense over all, and caused a sweet fragrance to arise, acceptable before Yahweh. And Yahweh smelled the sweet fragrance, and he made a covenant with him, that there should no longer be a flood to destroy the earth, but all the days of the earth, seed time and harvest, should never cease, cold and heat and summer and winter, and day and night should not change their order, nor cease forever. Thank you, Father. And you increase and multiply upon the earth, and become numerous upon it, and be a berachah upon it. The fear of you and the dread of you I shall inspire in all that is on earth and in the sea. And see, I have given to you all beasts, and all flying creatures, and all that moves on the earth, and the fish in the waters, and all matters for food, as the green plants. I have given you all matters to eat. But flesh with its life, with the blood, you shall not eat, for the life of all flesh is in the blood, lest your blood of your lives be required. At the hand of every man, at the hand of every beast, I shall require the blood of man. Ooh. Serious stuff. Whoever sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of Elohim he made man. And you increase and multiply on the earth. And Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh. And he made a covenant before Yahweh Elohim forever throughout all the generations of the earth in this month. On this account he spoke to you that you should make a covenant with the children of Israel in this month upon the mountain with an oath, and that you should sprinkle blood upon them because of all the words of the covenant which Yahweh made with them forever. And this witness is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, so that you should not eat on any day any blood of beasts or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth. And the man who eats the blood of beasts or of cattle or of birds during all the days of the earth, he and his seed shall be rooted out of the land. And you shall command the children of Israel to eat no blood, so that their names and their seed may be before Yahweh our Elohim continually. I think I'm going to become vegetarian again. Don't want to get this wrong. Verse 14. And for this law there is no limit of days, for it is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generations, so that they may continue atonement on your behalf with blood before the altar every day, and at the time of morning and evening they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf continually before Yahweh, that they may keep it and not be rooted out. And he gave to Noah and his sons a sign, that there should not be a flood on the earth again. Yarei Yahweh. He placed his rainbow in the cloud for a sign of the everlasting covenant, that there should not be a flood again on the earth to destroy it all the days of the earth. For this reason it is ordained and written on the tablets of the Shamayim that they should celebrate the festival of Shavuot in this month once a year, to renew the covenant every year. And this whole festival was celebrated in the Shamayim from the day of creation till the days of Noah, 26 Yobelim and 5 weeks of years. And Noah and his sons observed it for 7 Yobelim and 1 week of years, till the day of Noah's death. And from the day of Noah's death, his sons forsook it, until the days of Avraham, yea, and they ate blood. Not yea till they ate blood, yea, till it came back with Avraham. Abba's good to us. He keeps bringing people to remind us. Thank you, Father. Chapter 6, verse 19. But Avraham observed it, and Yitzchak and Yaakov and his children observed it, up to your days, and in your days the children of Israel forgot it until you celebrated it anew on this mountain. And you shall command the children of Israel to observe this festival in all their generations, for a command unto them. 1 day in the year of this month they shall celebrate the festival, for it is the festival of Shavuot, and the feast of first fruits. This feast is twofold, and a double nature, and of a double nature, according to what is written and engraved concerning it. Celebrate it. For I have written in the book of the first Torah, in that which I have written for you, that you should celebrate it in its season, 1 day in the year. That needs to go on our calendar, really. And I explained to you its slaughterings, that the children of Israel should remember, and should celebrate it throughout their generations in this month, 1 day in every year, and on a new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the 4th month, and on the new moon of the 7th month, and on the new moon of the 10th month, are the days of remembrance, and the days of the seasons in our 4 divisions of the year. These are written and ordained as a witness forever. Okay. I'm working out the calendar slowly. I've got to get all these festivals on it next. Never mind. Getting there slowly, Abba willing. Verse 24. And Noah ordained them for himself as festivals for the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial to him. and on the new moon of the first month, he was told to make an ark, and on that day the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. And on the new moon of the fourth month, the mouths of the depths of the abysses beneath were closed, and on the new moon of the seventh month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were opened, and the waters began to descend into them. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. And on account of this, he ordained them for himself as festivals, for a memorial forever. And thus they are ordained. And they placed them on the tablets of the Shamayim, which had 13 weeks. Their memorial passed from one to another, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the command shall be 52 weeks of days. And these shall make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraved and ordained on the tablets of the Shamayim. And there is no neglecting this command for a single year, or from year to year. And you shall command the children of Israel that they observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days, and these shall constitute a complete year, and they shall not disturb its time from its days and from its festivals, for all shall fall out in them according to their witness, and they shall not leave out any day, nor disturb any festivals. But if they neglect and do not observe them according to his command, which we've already done, people, then they shall disturb all their seasons, and the years shall be dislodged from this order, and they shall neglect their laws. See, when you start to realise things when reading these books that are coming up out of the ground, you do realise why mankind is in such a state and so anxious over everything and getting it all wrong. He's forgotten all this education. Yirei Yahweh for bringing it back. Continuing, verse 34, chapter 6. And all the children of Israel forgot, and shall not find the path of the years, and shall forget the new moons and seasons and Shabbatoth, and they shall go astray as to all the order of the years. For I know, and from this time on I shall declare it to you, and it is not of my own devising, for the book is written before me, and on the tablets of the Shamayim the divisions of days is ordained, lest they forget the festivals of the covenant, and walk according to the festivals of the Gentiles, after their straying and after their ignorance, like we do today. Sorry I keep saying that, but it's true. It needs to get home so that people learn, stop being so arrogant, learn what they're supposed to know. Chapter 6, verse 36. For there shall be those who shall assuredly make observations of the moon. Now it disturbs the seasons, and comes in from year to year 10 days too soon. For this reason, see Hanok, chapter 74, verses 13 to 15, to clear that one up. For this reason, the years shall come upon them. They shall disturb the order, and make an abominable day, the day of witness, and an unclean day, a feast day. And they shall confuse all the days, the Kodesh with the unclean, and the unclean day with the Kodesh. For they shall go astray as to the months, and Shabbatoth, and festivals, and Yobelim. Oh my goodness me, think of all the calendars, the Jewish calendar, and the Hebrew calendar, the Gregorian calendar, Islamic, the Julian calendar, lunar calendar. There's so many calendars. I'm going to do a video next and all these calendars will be named in it. Anyway, continuing. Chapter 6, verse 38. For this reason I command and witness to you, that you may witness to them, for after your death your children shall confuse them, so that they shall not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason they shall go astray, as to the new moons, and seasons, and Shabbatoth, and festivals, and they shall eat all kinds of blood, with all kinds of flesh. Oh dear, let's stop there, on chapter 7 next. Okay, so, very, very salty. I really can't imagine what you'll think about this book, but I've pondered and thought and thought. It's not the first time I've read it now, but it feels right to my heart with consulting Abba. Abba is our teacher, so all questions, please be directed to him, although I am interested in the answers he provides you with. Thank you, Abba, dearest Father, for bringing us together. Please open up all of our hearts to you all the time. Have us consider you and consult you with everything in our lives. And thank you for your salvation, clad in righteousness, to show us the right way, your way. Yeshua HaMashiach Adonai, he's become a hero in my life, Father. Please teach us to number our days correctly. Thank you for bringing us this light that's been hidden for so long. And Tudi, for your Ruach HaKodesh, our comforter, Father, without which we would be so lonely. Please look after the Mishpachah and Havarim and all those with a heart for you. Get us home safely, Father, watching and waiting. We eagerly anticipate your return. Through Yeshua I pray in Yahweh. Yahweh, our Kodesh Elohim. Yahweh Echad. Amen. Onward and upward, Mishpachah and Havarim. I do truly love you all. My heart goes out to this world with the confusion and deception. And there's nothing we can do, but we can be reassured. Abba will do the necessary, and he's going to make it right. So I'll see you here, or there, sooner or later. Hopefully we'll be reading the next bit of Yobelim before going, but if not, we'll read it on the banks of the River Chai. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful day. Much shalom, much ahav to you all.